Your brief thoughts about Ablekuma and the vicious cycle of...
This is so disgraceful.
Really?
It's completely disgraceful.
Okay.
I mean, anybody who watches or see what we are just seeing on the screen, or was even a witness to what happened.
Okay.
I mean, it's disgraceful. It's shameful. Policemen standing, seeing macho men bulldozing their way through. You can see, and attacking people and all that. I don't think this is what we need as a country. The fear I have, Uncle, is that having discussion with even colleague members of parliament, it seems that we are getting to a point where every member of parliament is thinking of how to protect himself and his vote in 2028. That is my fear.
Right.
I mean, yesterday I was listening to Uncle in one of the other platforms. He says the fear is not even Akwatia. The fear is
2028.
Absolutely. And the way, the thinking. And I'm saying this live on television, speaking among ourselves as MPs. The thinking of even members of parliament is actually, now all you do is make sure that you protect your ballot papers. How do you do that? Because nobody's having confidence in the police now. That's my worry. You know, and it's so shameful. I had a similar incident in my district, DC confirmation. Locked up the assembly members. They locked them up for like 4 hours, tags entered, tearing papers, just for just 22 people going to vote for a DC. And if the phenomenon continues like this, yes, you fear for our democracy. I fear too. It's a big, big problem. What happened at Ablekuma for 19 polling stations? 19 polling stations. You can imagine what will happen when the whole Ghana is about voting. You know, so I condemn it in all uncertainty. I was happy when I heard Mr. Fifi Kwete, the General Secretary of the party, condemn it. Unfortunately, other leading members of the same political party were making some very, very interesting comments about it. I mean, justifying it because of previous incidents. And sometimes when I come on TV like this, I'm so free to speak because I was bold to condemn it during our time. I didn't have any issue with it at all. And so today I shouldn't have any issue in condemning it. It becomes a problem when you supported what happened some few years ago and today you are trying to condemn it. That becomes a problem. But we can't continue like this. There has to be a time where both political parties come to terms to understand that this thing cannot continue. It simply cannot. You cannot just get macho men, disrupt a process, steal ballot papers, steal ballot boxes, destroy government property, and then at the end of the day, there's going to be a by-election or a re-election and you get an opportunity to come to parliament. It simply doesn't work that way. The same area where Awakumse was attacked, that was the same hotspot during the 2024 elections. What measures did the police put in place to ensure that we don't get to this level? And I think you saw the commander, the Adenta commander, slapping a journalist, a police commander. Police commander boldly slapping a journalist. What's the crime? Moro. You're having an event, you've invited journalists to come and cover, accredited journalists, and you're beating them.
That's terrible, eh?
I heard one journalist saying that next time, you will not even go and cover. Do whatever you want to do. Because if you come and you're going to beat us, what is the essence of coming there?
Yeah.
You know, so let's condemn. I condemn what happened. I have condemned what happened there. During our time, Ayahuasca and all that, I did so. I was open about it, and that is why I'm so free and confident to condemn what happened now.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I mean, I've been listening to public commentary on political violence, and sometimes I get the impression that we think that it's a recent phenomenon. It is not a recent phenomenon. You know, if you go back into our history, and I'm talking about recent history, I'm not even talking about, you know, ancient history. You recall that in 1951 or thereabout, you know, Kwame Nkrumah used to live near the Malata market in Accra, in a brick house in the Malata market. The house was bombed. He was there with his mother. There was an attempt to kill Kwame Nkrumah and his mother, Madam Yaniba, near the Malata market. And there have been many other incidents. I mean, Dr. Tony Edu, for example, tells the story of a woman who was captured by the opposition to Nkrumah in Kumasi, and this is early morning television, so I have to be very careful with how I describe it. You know, and her legs were spread apart, and her private part was pounded with pistol until she died. You understand? Accra Sports Stadium, innocent school children, people went and dropped bombs in the Accra Sports Stadium, killed many people, and so on. So, the violence we are seeing now is nothing compared to the violence in our history, the political violence which was unleashed in our history. In any case, 1966 coup. What political event was more violent than the 1966 coup? I was a little boy and I saw what happened. I saw what happened in the Kanda estates, where military men just moved, they pointed the nozzles of their armored vehicles into people's houses and brought down refrigerators and everything. I saw that kind of violence. You understand? I saw it with my own eyes, and so on. So, political violence is not new. But the fact that it's not new does not mean that it should be encouraged. I think that it should be discouraged. It should be discouraged because it represents the worst in our politics. It's a trend towards fascism. It's a trend towards, you know, unthinking, excessive stupidity in our politics. Politics no longer then is about alternatives for national development and so on. It's about who has the strongest arm or who has enough resources to mobilize stocks and so on. And that kind of politics would not lead to our development, so we need to discourage it. Now, what is worrying for me is that there's a by-election coming up now, and you should listen to the political party leaders.
The rhetoric.
Yeah, the threats. You know, I heard one of them say that as for him, he's ready to slap anybody who comes near him and so on. I heard people talking about mobilizing themselves. I've heard people who claim to be former members of the vigilante groups blaming the New Patriotic Party for not giving them enough money, and that, why? It's time for action. If they come and see them and pay the necessary fees and so on, they would act. That's very worrying. And you see, 3 days ago, I had a chat with one of my friends, Atta Kennedy, who is a founding member of the New Patriotic Party. And I asked him a very simple question. I said, don't you miss IGP Dampare? You know, I just said, don't you miss IGP Dampare? At least the last 2 by-elections which were conducted in this country,
Peaceful.
the police behaved so maturely and professionally. You understand? Now, that's a challenge for the new IGP. I'm sure he's hearing all the threats we are hearing. The new IGP is hearing those threats. We want to see how he will perform. You know, Dampare, before he left office, showed his mettle. I mean, you know what he did. I mean, the by-election which brought Jechi Kwesi back, you saw how he mobilized his forces. And the police didn't care who was in government and who was in opposition. They took a principled position and restored sanity, you know, in the 2 by-elections.
Kumewu won and
yeah. So I want to believe that the new Inspector General of Police would also do his best and ensure that some peace prevails. Not some peace, real peace prevails, you know, in the upcoming by-election. I mean, this upcoming by-election will tell a huge story when it's completed. That story should not be distorted by violence. Let's go to that by-election. When we finish, we would analyze the votes. We will analyze the messages and so on. And it would be a window to the future.
Yeah.
But if there's violence, all that will be destroyed. You can't do any serious analysis.
Yeah.
You know, we tend to focus on the violence and so on. I want to believe that the new Inspector General of Police has what it takes to ensure that the Akwatia by-election will be peaceful.
You know, Collins, yesterday we were doing some research and we noticed that it's been close to about seven by-elections we've had, and all those by-elections have not gone without any violence. So Etiwa, you start from Etiwa, and interesting, that was in 2009, right? Then you come to, Akwatia, and then you come to Etiwa, you come to Talensi, you come to Chereponi, you come to Ayawaso West, you come to Techiman South, and then Techiman North, isn't it? Techiman North, and then you have Ablekuma North. And so far, we've lost 8 in Techiman, and we lost 2, I believe, in the 2024 elections, and now we've assaulted 4 people. It's not a good record.
It doesn't make sense. That's what I'm basically saying.
That is under the 4th Republican Constitution.
That's what we are all saying.
It's not a record we should be proud of.
It's just a process to just take a decision as to who should lead you in parliament or should lead the country. Why should that be generating?
Well, the Interior Minister says that it won't happen in Akwatia. And then the second issue about what has happened since the Ablekuma North matter, which is having arrest been effected.
Nothing.
He says we can't find them.
Nothing.
No, he said we can't find them.
How? So on television, the police people were there.
We're looking for them. We don't know.
I mean, the police were there. If they needed to do any arrest, they were there. It's on television.
They were so immobilized, eh?
Yeah,
They couldn't do anything.
But why are we just focusing on Ablekuma?
No, he just...
It happened many times in Kasua. People died. And so
I understand that, Angwezi.
I am happy that the president has set up this commission or committee to investigate electoral violence and to make appropriate recommendations.
Okay.
I would be happy if this one is also added to that mandate.
Yeah.
And then we take it from there.
All right. So it doesn't appear we've learned anything from Ayawaso West, is it? Anyway.